We just played a little better. I mean, I don't think there was a magic bullet, if you will, or magic recipe. Um, when you play a team that's had 2 weeks to prepare for you, you've got to be ready for some things that are just different. Doesn't mean that you're going to reinvent yourself offensively and defensively, but they were obviously a little ahead of us early in the game, and I think that 2 weeks showed. And plus, they've got talented players, so we just kind of calmed down a little bit and played a little better.
You guys have gotten off to slow starts now in 3 or 4 games in a row. Is there anything to that, any one common theme?
I don't think so.
Who called for the onside kick?
Who called for it? Well, I mean, those decisions have to go through me, but it was something that we felt like we had going into the game. I mean, it was a calculated risk that we felt like we had a really good chance of beating.
There were a couple, like Anthony Miller breaking up the pass that could have been a pick, Chauncey Lanier jumping on the fumbled punt. I mean, there are a bunch of things that went into this, unsung heroes, I guess, those two plays.
Well, and I don't know the participation sheet, but there were just a bunch of guys that had to play, between Moses' deal and Deion's deal. And then with guys getting beat up and bunged up throughout the game, I mean, we had to play a bunch of people. And, thankfully enough, they stepped up and played well. I mean, the quarterback of our hands team is Mose, and so Mose is out, and now you've got to have your backup, quarterback that gets everybody aligned in there. Drew Bishop stepped in and did a fantastic job.
How can you describe your punter's performance tonight? Pinning USF inside the 15, I think 8 times tonight?
Well, it was, it's something that we've worked hard on. I'm really pleased, obviously, with the job he did. The coverage units did a good job getting down there, forcing fair catches or downing the ball. And early in the year, we missed a couple of those opportunities that, we've traditionally been pretty good at. So, we've kind of, I don't know if re-emphasized it's a word, but it was nice to see it pay off.
They moved the ball pretty well in the first quarter. Was there something you all changed, or was that also just playing better?
A little bit of both. I mean, we switched up a few coverage deals and then played better. I mean, they can run now. I mean, just standing there on the sidelines, they've got receivers and that running back. And, the speed that they carry onto the field is frightening at times, and they got around the edge a few times on us. But I thought our defensive staff did a good job adjusting and some coverage things so we could get some hats and support, and it paid off.
Paxton's legs were important for a couple of those completions, just getting the extra time.
Yeah, he did a good job. Probably not, I don't know what his numbers are, but probably not his most efficient performance. I felt like there was a little bit of feeling offensively that we should be scoring more than this. And even though we were winning the game and, in the second half, we just did some things that led us to be even more inefficient. And also credit to South Florida. Their defense is pretty darn good. I told you guys that we'd have a hard time with their front seven, and we did. They're pretty darn good. But he did move around and create a few plays.
Did you have thoughts on the targeting or the personal fouls?
Well, the targeting, to be
tough.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said to the officials. I said, that's just tough. Like, I'm not even sure what else you can tell the guy. But the bottom line is that's how the game's officiated, and we all know that. I mean, that wasn't a surprise. So we have to continue to find the balance between playing aggressive and playing smart. And in the second half, we certainly settled down. And I don't know what the numbers were, but I felt like we settled down and played a lot better in terms of those mistakes.
Good time for a break?
Yeah, it is. We've got a lot of improvement to do. We're going to take a couple days here without practicing, and then we'll be back at it Tuesday. And we've got some specific things that we're going to target that we've got to improve on in all phases.
Jalen Oglesby affected the game in a lot of different ways. Is this about where you thought he would be through 5 games, or is he?
I don't know. I mean, I like the progress that he's making, the way he's learning how to practice. I think that sounds pretty simple, but that's something that I think he's acknowledged the importance of that, and more importantly, maybe our importance on the way you practice. And we try to reward those guys that do those things. And I've seen a change in him on the practice field, which has led to more of a role. And then when Mose goes out, we're one short on our kind of rotation there, so he's got to come in and go. So, but he's an explosive player, and I like the way he played.
Is it nice during the break? I mean, in terms of teaching, the fact that you're teaching without having to incur a loss. You target.
Well, that's
things
always
without-
nice. But you're right. It's everybody knows who we play in 2 weeks, which is a monumental challenge. But for me, we won't turn the page to that until we get some good work on some other things. And I do believe that we do have some self-awareness, that we realize that we are fortunate to be where we're at and grateful for that, but have a lot of improvement to do.
As many points as you've scored all season, were you surprised to not get nearly as many tonight?
Well, I don't know if surprise is the right word. I have a tremendous amount of respect for South Florida's defense and the way they played. The players they have, the scheme they have is very sound, and they're very good at it. So I wasn't really. I knew it was going to be difficult, to make plays because they are so good. So I don't think I was. I would have hoped that we would have done better, but I don't know that I was surprised that it was difficult.